Dear friends, this is the story of a noble and pure-hearted woman who lives with a voiceless and innocent dog. There are also other people present to bear witness to this, and these people did such a thing to this woman that the people there were compelled to seek forgiveness and repent. They made a decision that will send shivers down your spine. I request you to stay with this incident from beginning to end, because this is a story filled with lessons. This all happened in ancient times, in a place where a widow lived. Her husband had passed away many years ago. Her husband was a renowned chieftain of the region, due to which this woman was also highly respected in the area. Everyone knew how virtuous, pious, and devoted she was. People came from far and wide to seek her prayers, because she helped in resolving their problems. Throughout her married life, no one had ever pointed a finger at her or accused her of anything. However, after her husband's passing, circumstances changed. Unfortunately, this woman had no children, nor did she have any parents or brothers to protect her. She was a beautiful, young widow who lived alone in her house. She knew that now, without her husband's shadow over her, people would accuse her and make her life miserable. However, her faith in Allah was strong, and she was devoted in worship. She fasted every day and spent her nights in prostration before Allah. In the place where she lived, there was a very wealthy man who, upon seeing this woman for the first time, lost his heart to her. While her husband was alive, no one had the courage to cast an evil eye on her. However, circumstances forced her to step out of her home for work. One day, when it was raining heavily, she was returning from work. The path had become muddy and swampy, making it difficult to walk. She was struggling to reach her home in this condition, when suddenly she saw a small dog trapped in the swamp, sinking slowly. The woman quickly approached the dog and saw that its leg was injured. She took it to her home, treated its wounds, and kept it with her. She decided that she would now care for this helpless creature and would not let it go anywhere. This dog became She started feeling a connection. The dog lived with her, but it never entered her prayer room. There was no happiness in this widow's life, but now joy had started to find a place in it. It was a strange coincidence that no one had ever seen this dog. It had lived inside the house since childhood and had never gone outside. As time passed, the dog grew up and became very attached to its owner because the woman took great care of it. In the presence of this dog, the woman felt safe from every kind of danger. The dog was not with her for any personal amusement, but as a companion who shared her sorrow. Life now passed with peace and patience, but slowly, she began to feel that some people were keeping an eye on her. Whenever she stepped out of her house, men would lower their gazes, except for one wealthy man. One day, when this rich man saw the beautiful woman's face, he became infatuated with her and said, "I want this woman." He lacked nothing in wealth, and he could buy any woman he wanted. But this woman was virtuous and honorable. One day, the wealthy man sent a message to the woman through his servant, asking to meet her. However, the woman replied, "I do not meet with strangers." The servant returned and informed his master, upon which the rich man became furious and said, "Until today, no woman has ever refused me or rejected my message." He then personally went to the woman's door and knocked. The woman asked, "Who is it?" He replied, "I am the richest man in this city, and there is no one wealthier than me." The woman said, "I do not know anyone, whether rich, wealthy, or noble. Leave this place." The rich man said, "Look, I have everything you could desire. I will give you everything at your feet. Just spend one night with me." The woman replied, "What relation do I have with you? I don't even know you, and you expect me to establish an unlawful relationship with you. If you are a decent man, then marry me." The rich man said, I cannot marry you because I already have 4 wives, and they will not allow me to take a 5th wife. They are the daughters of rich and noble families, and in front of them, I hold no value, but I will give you everything, just not marriage." The woman replied, "Aren't you ashamed? You want me not to be your wife. Instead, you want me to become your mistress. Get lost from here. Your wealth cannot tempt me. Go buy someone else." But that man was like the devil. His desire was to somehow possess this woman, even if just once. The rich man repeatedly tried to meet her, but she never agreed. Finally, he thought of sending his men to abduct her. He sent some thugs to her house. They broke down the door, and as soon as they tried to grab the woman, they felt as if something had lifted them and thrown them far away. It seemed as though an unseen force was protecting the woman. The thugs were terrified and trembling, returned to their master. They said, "We don't know what it is, but that woman is dangerous. We cannot lay a hand on her. Something threw us away. We will not go there again." Hearing this, the rich man became disheartened and said, "What should I do? Even my strongest men have failed. They couldn't overpower a delicate woman. I don't know what force they are talking about." Then he devised a new scheme. He allied himself with 3 other wealthy men in the area and said, "Listen, in this place, there is a beautiful and attractive woman. She is young and has no children. I wanted to possess her, but she is beyond my grasp. Let's accuse her of something together." He continued, "No one has ever refused me before. I will punish her for her insolence." Then they all went to the woman and, using different excuses, tried to harass and trouble her. The woman immediately understood that these men were devils. She did something to them that frightened them so much that they stumbled back in terror and ran to the rich man. They said, "You were right. That woman cannot be manipulated." Hearing this, the rich man said, "But I will still take my revenge. No one has ever humiliated me. Now we will turn the entire community against her. Everyone respects her now, but we will make her the most infamous prostitute in this town." The rich man's anger and thirst for revenge also corrupted the minds of the other 3 men. This woman, who had always protected her purity and honor, continued to avoid all sins. However, the rich man also managed to manipulate the poor people of the area against her. As a result, people began to believe the rich man's words. They started harassing the woman. They stood at her door, taunting her, throwing stones at her house. But the woman remained patient. Then one day, things went too far. People had lost all sense of humanity, and even humanity itself felt ashamed of their actions. All night, the woman prayed. Finally, Allah accepted her prayers. On the other hand, the 4 wicked men who were determined to defame the woman took their efforts even further. They gathered the entire neighborhood and said, "There is a righteous and just Qazi Sahib among us. He always delivers fair judgments. We should take this matter to him and get a verdict against this woman." The rich man agreed, saying, "Yes, we will first tell our side of the story to Qazi Sahib. He will rule in our favor, and we will drive this woman out of the neighborhood." That same evening, the 4 wicked men, along with the entire neighborhood, went to Qazi Sahib's court. There, they falsely accused the woman, saying, "She is an immoral woman. Not only that, but she has even committed sin with her dog. We demand that she be punished. This is the only suitable punishment for such a woman." Qazi Sahib, a righteous and just man of Allah, listened to their words and fell into deep thought. After a moment, he said, "These men are lying. Something seems suspicious. I must first meet this woman to uncover the truth." Qazi Sahib then instructed one of his men, "Go, bring this woman here. I need to speak with her." The Qazi's man went to the woman and conveyed the message. "The just and pious Qazi Sahib has summoned you. He wishes to meet you." The woman, surprised, asked, "Why am I being called?" The man replied, "I do not know, but this is Qazi Sahib's order, and no one can refuse his command. You must come with me." The woman agreed and went to Qazi Sahib's court. The 4 wicked men were unaware of this development. Qazi Sahib called the woman in private and asked, "Tell me the truth. What is this matter? Have you really committed an act with the dog?" Hearing this question, the woman felt deeply hurt, but she remained composed and replied with complete calm, "You are a righteous man of Allah. You possess knowledge and understand the difference between truth and falsehood. I swear before Allah, these accusations are false. I seek justice because Allah loves those who uphold justice." Qazi Sahib listened carefully to the woman's words and understood that she was telling the truth. He then ordered the 4 wicked men to be brought before him, one by one, so that each testimony could be taken separately. First, he summoned the rich man, who was the mastermind behind this conspiracy. Qazi Sahib asked him, "According to your statement, the woman committed an act with the dog. Tell me, what is the color of this dog?" The rich man panicked because he had never actually seen the dog. However, he tried to make something up. The rich man quickly blurted out, "The dog is black." Then, Qazi Sahib summoned the second man and asked him the same question. He thought for a moment and then said, "The dog is red." Next, the third man was called and asked the same question. He confidently answered, "The dog is khaki-colored." Finally, the 4th man was brought before Qazi Sahib, who repeated the question. The man calmly responded, "I can recognize it even in the dark. The dog is white." After hearing their conflicting testimonies, Qazi Sahib declared, "Now I will summon the woman to the court so that the truth is revealed before everyone." When the woman arrived at the court, she was accompanied by her dog. The crowd watched in shock. The dog was neither black, nor red, nor khaki, nor white. Instead, its body displayed a mix of all colors. Some parts were black, others red, some khaki, and some white. Seeing this, Qazi Sahib became furious and said, "If you all were telling the truth, the dog's appearance should match your statements. But your lies have been exposed." The rich man tried to defend himself. "I am telling the truth. People believe me. This woman must be punished." Qazi Sahib sternly replied, "You claim to be speaking the truth, but now Allah's creation will decide your fate." He then turned toward the dog and said, "This dog will testify about its owner. By Allah's will, it shall speak." Qazi Sahib took Allah's name and addressed the dog. "Bear witness to the moment when this woman saved you from the swamp, nursed your wounds, and gave you a new life. Now by Allah's command, speak the truth about your owner. If she is guilty, reveal it." The dog spoke, "This woman is pure and virtuous. Allah has granted her a high status. She is a noble and righteous woman. The accusations against her are entirely false." Upon hearing the dog's testimony, Qazi Sahib pronounced his judgment. "This woman is pure and innocent. False accusations have been made against her. The one who conspired against her is destined for hell. Allah will never forgive such people."